Hey guys, it's Maya and welcome back to my crib. So I personally, first of all, the other side of the camera is a fat mess. You cannot tell, but it is. I just have a lot to do and I'm just scatterbrained right now. So that is why. Well, you can't see it, so who cares? It's fine. But I personally, not to toot my own horn or anything, think I had a really good video idea for this week. So I'm very excited about it. So here we go. Okay, I was watching this girl who like Googled herself. She was like Googling questions about herself and like the stupidest things were coming up as Google like recommended searches when they put her name in. And I was like, oh my god, what if we Googled questions about Tourette's? So that's what we're gonna be doing today. So where did it go? Okay, so I'm opening up Google Chrome on here, and as you can see, Google popped up, or you can also see it right there. I don't know what's wrong with me. Anyway, so let's just do it. So I came up with like a couple like beginnings of questions and I'm just gonna type them in. Is Tourette's real? That is the first thing that came up on Google. Is Tourette's real? Do I really have to answer that? But, yeah. Oh my god. Is Tourette's genetic? That's actually like an okay question. Like, I'm not disappointed in Google for that one. Yes, it is genetic, but oftentimes the genetics aren't, like, it's not very common, so like, yeah, it's genetic. Sorry, that's an easy one. Is Tourette's curable? So that is the answer. The short answer to that is no. However, there is a lot of treatments that you can use to help your tics or your other Tourette's symptoms. As I've said on this channel before, Tourette's is very often dually diagnosed with a lot of mental illnesses or other neurological things like ADHD or OCD, or mental illnesses like depression and anxiety. And all of those things kind of go along with Tourette's, so it's like important to remember that. So it's not just the tics, even though the tics suck. But, what was I gonna say? Okay, so the treatments are medication. I take medication for my tics and it really helps a lot. I've been on them for a while though, so I wonder what I would be like now if I went off of them. But, I lost my hair is, I'm so sorry for this, guys. My hair looks like straw. Tourette's also, there's this thing called tic replacement therapy or something like that. I tried it for a little bit and it made me so stressed that I had to stop because I felt like a failure because I couldn't do it and it made me just so upset. So I stopped tic replacement therapy, guys. But yeah, there's a bunch of treatments, but no, it's not curable, fam. Is Tourette's a disability? So this is a good question. I think like what I would counter this question with is like the idea that, is any disability really a disability? Like, it might, but like, yeah, at school I'm registered with disability services, right? So like I have my own room, I get accommodations, and that's through like disability, because like, yeah, the short answer to that one is like, yeah, it's a disability. But at the same time, I can do everything that everyone else can do. It might take me longer to finish a test, or it might make me, stop. I did not say, okay, Google. Oh my god. It might take me longer to finish a test, or it might make it strange to go to the library or something, but I can still do everything that everyone else can do. So that's basically my answer to that question. Is Tourette's a disease? I actually searched this up recently. Technically, yes, it's a disease of the neurons in the brain. It's obviously not contagious, please, unless you and another person with Tourette's are by each other, then it's definitely contagious. That's, if you have never experienced that, well, if you don't have Tourette's, you probably haven't experienced that, but like, oftentimes, like, we like feed off of each other. Like, one of my tics, actually, that one, came from another person with Tourette's at an event, and one of her tics was and one of my tics at the time was boo. So I put them together, and I still have right now, so whatever. But, sorry, what was that original question? Is Tourette's a disease? I kind of already answered that. Is Tourette's guy alive is the last thing on here. Why does everyone care so much about Tourette's guy? Can Tourette's go away? Good question, Google. I'll answer that for you. So Tourette's is very it fluctuates. So oftentimes, like, you hear a lot of statistics and stuff, or like facts about Tourette's, that a lot of times it gets really bad in adolescence and then it goes away in adulthood. Not for everyone. I mean, maybe it will. I'm still only 19, but I don't think so. But for a lot of people, it doesn't go away, but it does go in waves. So like for me, some days will be really good tic days for me, and I will not have a lot of tics that day, and then the next day I'll be like, and that's kind of how it goes. Anyway, can Tourette's be cured? I went over that already. Can Tourette's kill you? Google! Can Tourette's be developed? So this is another question that kind of goes along with, like, is Tourette's genetic or like something like that? Like, a lot of times, like, I don't really know the answer to this, because I don't think there's definitely things that can trigger Tourette's, but it's not like you can catch it. You know what I mean? A lot of times, like, people will go in stressful situations and they'll like start to notice their tics, or like when I first got to school, my tics got really bad because I was in a new place and I was really nervous. And like, obviously symptoms don't really start showing until you're like, maybe like I was diagnosed at 7, I think. But my symptoms were always kind of there, so I don't really. Can Tourette's come and go? Yes, yes, yes. Can Tourette's be mild? That is a great question, Google. Again, that kind of cancels out can Tourette's kill you, kind of. So yeah, a lot of people that have Tourette's have super mild Tourette's, and people have this notion in their brains that Tourette syndrome has to be crazy. It has to have cursing tics. It has to have a million bajillion things. And that's not true. We still have the same struggles. Well, I don't really have mild. I don't know what that even means. Like, define mild, Google. Come on. Does Tourette's hurt? Well, yeah, actually. Sometimes it does, actually. Like, I have this tic, I still do, where I have to like clench my butt, and it's like one of my invisible tics, which I call them, and a lot of people do, where it's like no one else can tell you're having that tic. Like, it's not visible, but you still feel it, and a lot of times that's muscle stuff. But yeah, this one I do it a lot, actually, mostly when I'm alone, is I have to like clench my butt, or I have to like clench my abs. I hope that I get a toned butt from it, honestly. That one hurts by the end of the day. Like, my butt hurts, man. Like, my muscles hurt. But yeah, some people like have crazy things that, like, some people hit themselves. Now I have to, sorry. Some people, oh my god. Side note, when you talk about it, it gets worse. But, so we kind of go down the list. We kind of already answered that. Oh, does Tourette's make you curse? So for a lot of people, Tourette's doesn't make you curse. I don't have cursing tics really ever, unless I'm like watching a video on YouTube where someone has a cursing tic, then I like have to repeat it. It's like confusing. But for about 10% of people that have Tourette syndrome, they do have what they call coprolalia, which is cursing tics. And that sucks. But to answer Google's question, kind of, it does for some people and not for others, and that's okay. Doesn't make you less a valid Tourette's person if you don't have coprolalia. Please remember that. Thank you. but it also makes you a really hard life if you do. So. Okay. Oh my god. This one asks it again. Does Tourette's guy have Tourette's? I mean, I'm assuming so. Like, who even is this guy? I don't even know. Was Tourette's guy an actor? That's the first thing that comes up when I search was Tourette's. Was Tourette's guy an actor? When was Tourette's discovered? That I really don't know. Let's search it. They're just 1885, man. Dr. George Gillies de la Tourette, the pioneering French neurologist, was the first one that described the condition, and that's what he was named after. That's cool. Who was Tourette's guy came up when I searched was Tourette's. Obviously, I'm sorry Tourette's guy that you have Tourette's, but literally people associate Tourette's with two things. The South Park episode and Tourette's guy. Actually, story. So I was at the library the other day. This is just a public service announcement for everyone in the world, literally. I was at the library and I was ticking a little bit. I love going to the library, but sometimes, you know, since it's a quiet space, people will comment or like look at me and I'm like used to it, obviously. But I was sitting next to this guy and I was having the tick, but poo, but poo, and but poo. And I was having that tick and he looks over and he's like, "Are you talking to me?" And I was like, "Oh no, I have Tourette syndrome." And he goes, "Oh." And I was like, okay. He was like, "Yeah, I've seen the South Park episode." Do I have to say anything else? I literally didn't know what to say, so I said, "Well, that's a bad representation, but..." And then of course my tics got worse because I was conscious of the fact that he was noticing them. And then I texted my friend later, I was like, usually I hope my tics don't annoy people, but I really hope my tics was annoying that guy. But poo. Alright guys, so that was my video answering people's questions about Tourette's and, oh, not people's, Google's. So if you guys like this video, be sure to check out my other Tourette's videos on my page, and remember that I have a new song out and we're almost at 5,000 streams on Spotify, so please stream sync in. I'm so happy that everyone loves it. I love it too. And that's basically the video, so